Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're talking about truck guns. Now, truck guns could be a little bit of a controversial issue there, whether you should carry them or not. I'm not really going to advocate for them or against them. I'm not going to get into the whole philosophy and that topic tonight in the video. I'm just going to show you some different options. Now, I will say, like some people would say, they're not practical, you will never need it, and if anything, you're just going to end up arming a bad guy by getting it stolen out of your vehicle. I totally understand where those people are coming from, and I don't totally disagree with them either. However, I would say this, anybody who's watching this video, I'd imagine you probably have a home defense gun, right? You have a gun at home that you use for personal defense. Chances are the place that you're at the second most, other than home, maybe other than work, is in your vehicle. Okay, so think about your vehicle as, basically your mobile home base. Okay, that would be maybe one reason to carry a truck gun. Now, I'm going to go over 5 or 6 different options here, things that everyday people could carry. Anything, from tactical stuff to more sort of utilitarian things. Okay, so lots of different reasons people might want to carry a truck gun, whether it be for active shooter response all the way down to varmint control. Okay, so you're going to see everything in between. All right, so I'm going to start small and work my way up to the bigger stuff. So without further ado, let's get into the first gun, and that is going to be this tiny little Ruger LCP. Okay, with a pocket holster. Now, this is a great thing for somebody that maybe doesn't care that much about having extra firepower or anything. You literally just want to have like the bare minimum. You want to have something to keep in your vehicle so that you're at least always armed. Okay, and in this case, you could even throw this in your pocket and use it for concealed carry real easily. The good thing about it is this is an older gun, so it's not very valuable anymore. If you were trying to resell this gun, you'd probably get less than $200 for it. So, a gun like this would be great because it's tiny, it's compact, you'll always have it, and, it's so cheap that you won't really miss it, or you won't be really upset if it gets dinged up and scratched. Now, that's the bare minimum, okay? You could also go with another little philosophy, would to be go with a larger handgun, okay? So this is a Glock 20 and 10 millimeter with a Streamlight TLR1 on it. You could go with something like a bigger bore handgun, like a 10 millimeter, 45, and maybe a revolver, a 357 or a 44. Something like that has a little bit more firepower than maybe your concealed carry pistol, and it holds more rounds and all that kind of stuff. So something like this, this is my home defense pistol. So you could essentially use your home defense pistol as your truck gun. One thing that I would mention is with any truck gun, personally, I would not like to spend a whole lot of money on it. I wouldn't use something that's worth a whole lot of money, because if somebody does break into your vehicle and steal it, you're going to not have that gun anymore, right? So you don't want to lose something that's worth a whole lot of money or something that has sentimental value. So if you don't want to go with like a brand new Glock, what you could do is you can find used Glocks for $300 or $400. There's all kinds of other pistols out there, guys, that are pretty cheap. And one thing that you can find right now that would work well is, since everybody's on the 9mm craze, everybody is getting rid of their 40s. There's a lot of police trade-in 40 Smith & Wessons and used 40s at gun shops all the time, and you can find really good deals on 40 cal handguns now because not as many people have them. And it's still a good round, and it's definitely, you can get rounds that have a little bit more juice than 9mm. So a used 40 or 10mm or 45 be a great way to go. Okay. Another thing I forgot to mention that you could do is, with your pistol, you could pair it with a PCC, a pistol caliber carbine. Anything like a Ruger PC Charger, or an AR-9, or some kind of, a Springfield, or a Strybog, or a Scorpion, or a Keltec Sub 2000. I saw those for sale for like less than $400 recently. That they especially piqued my interest in the 10mm version that's coming out. But anything like that would be really good, because you'd have a long gun with the same magazine compatibility as your handgun. If you check out my sleeper cell video, I also recommend carrying some sort of bag that you can keep extra ammo in. Okay, in this case, I just have spare Glock mags in that one. just for the video. This is like a Highland Tactical bag from, I think, TJ Maxx. Okay, you can get them on Amazon. Or if you're going to go with a long gun, even just something as simple as a fanny pack, you can hold a few AR mags in there, okay? And you can just throw this in the truck. That way you have the magazine in the gun as well as some spare ammo there to deal with, okay? Now, let's go next into a long gun, but the smallest one, and this is a Ruger 1022, okay? Now, I don't have the takedown version or anything like that. If I did, that's probably what I would say is use like the takedown version. But I have this one that I bought a few years back, and a 22 would be really good for like pest control and stuff like that, and you can carry a ton of ammunition. So maybe your philosophy is more about survival than it is about, like, you know, defense. So if you're more thinking about a survival gun, definitely a 22 is probably the way to go. So anything like this, like a Ruger 1022, grandpa's old 22 that you have from the house or whatever, would be a great way to go. Another option that's a little bit outside the box, or for home or not for home defense, but for survival, would be something like a double barrel shotgun. And, you know, this is obviously pretty old school. This is a Stoeger coach gun, but as you notice, it's very compact, and you can shoot anything from, now, this one, I have shot slugs out of it. I don't know that I'd recommend it, but you can shoot anything from a grizzly bear down to a squirrel with a 12 gauge shotgun, depending on if you're using buckshot, birdshot, slugs, whatever. So with this, it's very compact. And then if you pay attention here for a second, watch this. I can get the gun to be very, very compact if you take it down like that. And you could fit that inside of a small bag or under, you know, a seat or whatever. So sticking with the shotgun theme, a shotgun is very versatile, and so I think a shotgun would be a very good idea, because again, you can run slugs, birdshot, or buckshot through it. This is a Mossberg 500, okay, and this is the 8-round version, but you could get, you know, any variation of a Mossberg pump shotgun, of Remington, even if you want to go really cheap, get like a Stevens 320 or whatever. Get some kind of, again, inexpensive pump shotgun. They're going to be reliable. They run all kinds of ammo. And clearly this is going to be a lot more firepower than a pistol. Now the problem for me, this is what I would use as my truck gun probably all the time. But here in Pennsylvania, our laws don't allow us to have a loaded long gun in the vehicle. So because of that, I normally keep this for home defense. I think they call it cruiser ready or whatever, where you have shells in the tube and nothing in the chamber. You're not allowed to do that in Pennsylvania from everything I understand. So I can't keep this loaded. And if I can't keep it loaded, it takes a while to load, you know, the tube of a shotgun. So to me, I don't really use this because I'd have to keep the ammo separate and everything, and there's not a really very good way to load it quickly. But if you don't live in a state like Pennsylvania, if you don't have any laws like that, that would be a great option. Or if you're not worried about reloading fast, you know, loading it quickly, if you're just worried about, again, pest control or something like that, or survival, the 12 gauge shotgun is definitely a good way to go, okay? Now, because I can't carry a rifle loaded in the vehicle, you could carry a AR pistol, okay? This is technically a pistol. It's a 10.5-inch barrel. This is actually my home defense gun. I will throw this in the truck sometimes if I'm going somewhere where I feel like maybe there's a heightened risk or something like that, or just, you know, it's really just kind of for fun, to be honest. But this is great because obviously AR-15, I don't have to do a whole lot of detail into that, but very versatile round. You know, you can carry a lot of ammo and obviously a lot more stopping power than a pistol. So the AR pistol, guys, you know, a regular pistol. The AR pistol is a great way to go. Very compact. You can keep it under the seat. This one is a PSA. Now it's a premium upper, so this one is a little bit pricier, so that's why I don't usually carry this one in the truck. Okay? So now this would be my favorite option if I lived out west. So if you live out west somewhere and you are out in the open prairie, out in the mountains, somewhere where you've got more wide open space, larger game, stuff like that. Maybe you live on a ranch out there or something. Going with something with like the Ruger Gunsight Scout Rifle. This is one of my favorite guns. I'll do another video here on this in the future about how I think this is a good ranch rifle. This is in .308, so you got a much larger caliber, heavier hitting caliber. I will carry this in deer season here in Pennsylvania and all that. So this is great for, wildlife. It's good for long range, not super long range, but you get, a little bit further than your normal AR. And you can still carry a good amount of ammo, 10-round magazines with it. So, this certainly could do okay in a defensive role as well if you needed to. So that's another one that would be a great option. If I was driving around in my vehicle all the time out in the wild, like this is probably what I would have in there. But again, this is another example of I like this gun too much. It's too expensive. So I don't usually keep this one in my truck either. So I'm going to show you my favorite gun to keep in my truck. Okay, and that is this guy, the classic PSA Freedom Rifle. Okay, got this for like $400, AR-15. Okay, very basic, iron sights, carry handle. Why I choose iron sights for my truck gun, this is a good, another good point, is your truck or whatever vehicle you have is probably going to have heat or air conditioning on all the time if you're like me. So there's a good chance that when you take that gun out of the vehicle, it's going to go from one extreme to the next when it comes to temperature. So you're going to get a very big difference in temperature, and that's going to lead to fogging up optics. And so a lot of times I'd prefer to just do iron sights rather than have optics that'll fog up. But I love this gun. It is very compact. It's a 16-inch barrel, and when you collapse the stock, it's pretty short, very lightweight. Probably one of my most lightweight guns that I own. And the great thing about this is, like I said, it was $400, and I do not care whatsoever about the appearance of this gun. Okay, so when I throw this in my vehicle, I am not worried about it getting dings and dents, scratches, whatever. This is 100% a utilitarian gun. It is very bare bones, basic. Again, all I have is iron sights. I have a cheap sling on there, and it'll get the job done. I can easily shoot this gun out to 200 or 300 yards and hit man-sized targets consistently. So, yeah, that's the gun that I choose to go with. Now, if you want to, come in here, and I'm going to show you how I put these guns in my truck. Alright guys, so if you have a little bit more of an expensive truck gun that you want to keep safe, or I guess keep from getting dinged up and stuff, I highly recommend these Save Your Equipment bags. Got this one, I can fit my AR pistol in there. It'll actually fit two guns if I want to. It'll also fit my 16-inch AR, but get yourself a bag like that if you want to make sure that you keep your gun nice. Throw it under the seat, and you're good to go. Now, I also have, if you want to show in here, they make these gun racks that these are just kind of like cheap cloth ones from Amazon that go on the back of your seat. I honestly don't really use those very often. The only time I tend to use those is if I'm going pheasant hunting because the shotguns work in there. But generally speaking, I probably won't actually put the gun in there. I'll usually put it under the seat because I prefer it to be hidden. Now, I'm not usually going to use this bag because I find it's too much, takes too long to get out and everything. So, as you can see here, this is essentially how I keep my Palmetto AR in there. Again, I'm not worried about it getting dinged up or anything, so I literally can just keep it on the seat, or on the floor under the seat. And, it is pretty well hidden there. So, yeah, this is a F-150 crew cab. So, obviously, you'd have to adjust maybe depending on what size your vehicle is. Great thing is this gun here Also fits in my wife's Hyundai Tucson, down underneath where the spare tire goes in the trunk. And so I can keep that in there too as well if I want to. So something like this would work in a lot of different vehicles. So there's all kinds of, you can get boxes and stuff to lock the gun in there. The F-150 has a little compartment in here, but I usually keep other stuff that's more important to me in there, like roadside equipment, emergency gear, rain jackets, stuff like that. So, all right, so yeah, guys, those are just some options that you could think of for truck guns. Those are not necessarily guns that I always carry in my truck, but they're just ideas that you could use. This is one that I do carry in my vehicle from time to time. Not always, but sometimes I will. So yeah, as always, if you guys enjoy this content, if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. Drop a comment down below. And if you like these t-shirts, head down into the description and the link to my merch store will be in there. And you can get yourself a t-shirt, something to help support the channel. Would be greatly appreciated. So as always, guys, have a good night and keep blasting.